Welcome to the Morning Nerdy News. I'm your host, Gray Falcon. I'm going to go ahead and get straight into the news today. First off, we have Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered is coming out. This is probably the most exciting game that I've heard being announced in a while. As I talked the other day, am very excited about the old school Need for Speed, and they were giving up the launch for the new one that was coming out, and I just was talking about how I wasn't excited about that, how it just hadn't had that flair since back in the old days. And with the re-release of Hot Pursuit and it being fully remastered, this might be the kick that I need to just get back in and start doing some racing with my friends. They are offering online full multiplayer. You'll be able to go and play with your friends on Xbox and PlayStation, and I presume PC as well. So it won't matter where you're playing this game, you'll be able to enjoy it with all of your friends. They do have the trailer video down below. It's pretty boring. It's mostly this guy who keeps getting beat at the game, and his wife or girlfriend who lives with him is just constantly exhausted with the fact that he's playing this game. It doesn't seem like a great way to encourage this game. I think it would have been better off if they had showed it with her playing with him and just being a part of a group and a family that's enjoying something rather than something that's basically hurting a relationship. But otherwise, the game looks really good. So go in, take a look, watch the video, and if for nothing else, you'll be able to see the actual gameplay as it plays through. Bungie Destiny 2 has its Halloween Fest coming back, and this is pretty much the run-of-the-mill same thing that we've had for the last couple of years. You'll be able to go in, do the special events for collecting candy, turning those in, getting the different masks, go in and do the haunted forest where you fight creatures and get as far in as you can until the time runs out. You'll be able to do all that. You'll see the new items that are down here, where we have 2 new weekly bounties, 4 new daily bounties, and then the additional bounties, which is pretty typical. And then we have the different masks that you can collect this year on top of what's typically kind of the free mask. It gives you a bonus to whatever preferred ability type you use between Arc, Solar, and Void. And they have the new Mummy Wrap, Ghost Shell, Bike, and then Spaceship. So if you want to go out and walk like a mummy, fly like a mummy, and drive like a dummy, here's your chance. And in some other updates, Cyberpunk 2077 got an update over in Russia, so a Night City Wire Special Russian Edition. So you can go over on YouTube and watch through this, but we get some new gameplay. You go in and they talk more about the game and how it expands out. So this is a great watch. I suggest you come over here and check this out. Some of the information is kind of repeats of stuff that we've already heard, and it is all translated because this is in Russian. This isn't like the last one where they had the Ask Us Anything and they had the actual person speaking English. So you'll actually have to read through this entire thing in order to keep up with what's going on in the story bits that they're showing and the questions and answers that they go through. And one final update over on PlayStation Blog, we have Ghost of Tsushima Legends and New Game Plus out on October 16th. So this is the much anticipated co-op patch that's coming out. So you'll be able to go in and play with your friends and family. This does not appear to be split screen. This is going to be an online co-op. But you go in, check out the video, check out the new customized armor, and the specialized looking like spirit bow that they have in this. Just all kinds of good information for a game that has been absolutely fantastic, a fan favorite for many people, including myself. And I look forward to sitting down and being able to play this with my brother. And we're going to move over into tech news, where right now Nvidia CEO says that GeForce RTX 30 demands exceed expectation, RTX 3080 and RTX 3090 shortages to last until 2021. So we already heard that there was an expectation of this having a delay till 2021 for the supply issues to be resolved. But Jensen is now talking about how there isn't really a supply shortage, that the demand is just so high that it was unexpected, which we've heard before, but he basically blames us for them not having enough product. And I don't know that that's a good way of going about this. They should really have gone up and said, hey, We realize that this is unprecedented for how much the demand is, and we didn't realize how heavy this was going to be, but we're going to do our best in order to supply you with the product that you need as quickly as possible. But he doesn't say that. He says, our supply is adequate. Our supply is what it needs to be. Basically, you guys are asking for too much of it, and that doesn't come across the way that you want it to when you're a gamer trying to get your hands on this, as someone who is still trying to acquire one himself in order to make sure that, Cyberpunk 2077, which is just talked about, is going to play at its best ability, to be able to have the best streaming quality for those of you that want to watch me play this game. It doesn't help people in my situation, or anyone who even has a card already, who feel like they had to fight and barely managed to get one. This just isn't satisfying. So hopefully Nvidia kind of gets their game together and starts putting out information that's helpful to the consumer, rather than kind of blaming them for their shortcomings at this point. And in other Nvidia news, with the Nvidia and Arm merger, they say we're bringing the GPU and DPU acceleration to ARM with support for Nvidia AI, HPC, and RTX SDKs. Learn how developers can get started today. So this is a tweet from them, and they bring this over where they have their little thing here, and there's a lot of information in this, but where this is most important is they are getting these chips designed and modified and getting code to developers for games so that they can bring this over to ARM systems. What this allows for is for better streaming capability, so their own custom setup for anyone who wants to go in and create their own cloud streaming service. And this is a proof of concept for Nvidia GeForce Now, so they can go out and sell it by saying, hey, we already have these. Our server can handle up to 128 gaming users. This is something that you can go out and use for your own gaming setup, or perhaps you're a business and they can show, hey, as a business, you can go in and run basically 128 users for a rendering farm or some other tech project that requires a lot of power, but you need multi-user access to come in and be able to take advantage of this. They are building this out and showing that this can be done. This has a lot more information in here. You can go in and see about the enterprise information, how things come together, how this is useful for other projects and AI learning in manufacturing and other scenarios. But for us as gamers, this is primarily just big news in order for cloud gaming, and how this is going to help improve cloud gaming on Nvidia's side as well. Continuing on with cloud gaming, the Asus ROG Phone 3 finally releases in the US, so you can get the 12 gigabit RAM or 16 gigabit RAM configurations, and this will allow you to have access to cloud gaming at a high refresh rate. So this has 144 hertz at 1080p, so pretty standard for most gaming nowadays. But then you can get your xCloud, your Nvidia GeForce Now, any Shadow, any of those services, and you'll be able to have that high refresh rate on the go, assuming you have the fast internet connection. Now, this does have Wi-Fi 6 in it, so it'll ensure that if the speeds are there, you have that reliable connection in order to be able to maintain and get that performance out of this device. And moving over into some AMD tech news, AMD Big Navi Radeon RX 6000 graphics cards rumored to feature Infinity Catch could help assist with bandwidth. So their cards, they don't have as high of a bandwidth as the Nvidia cards do. Right now, the rumor mill has it that they're only going to hit about 512 gigs for their bandwidth, where in comparison, Nvidia hits about a terabyte. So that is a huge gap in bandwidth delivery. But if this Infinity Catch is actually true, it just speeds up the whole process. So while it doesn't have the bandwidth that is necessary, it will be able to help with 4K gaming. Now, if this is going to be advantage at 1080 or 1440p, that's yet to be seen. Of course, this is also rumored, so we don't even know if this is actually going to exist, or if somehow that 512 gigabit is actually going to be higher than that on some cards. So all of this with a grain of salt right now. And then in final news, SpaceX has a deployment of 60 Starlink satellites confirmed. So if you were looking for satellite internet and you're one of those people that are signed up for the beta or just waiting for it to become widely available, SpaceX is showing that they now added 60 new satellites in this morning, and you can watch and see the successful release of those. And it's not a whole lot. You just kind of see it released from the actual spaceship or satellite, whatever is holding that in this instance, to get those out of there. So SpaceX is expected to have about a 50 megabit per second speed when it releases. Hopefully we'll get a faster speed than that as time goes by. We don't have pricing yet. Like I said, it's still in beta, and anyone who has the beta, they are not actually allowed to talk about it. As I've covered before, they're being very hush-hush with anyone who actually gets it. You have to set up a satellite dish on your home yourself. You get no help from the company at all for setting it up. But as we get more news, we'll let you know, because unlimited internet access anywhere in the world, going to places that wouldn't traditionally have cable internet or a good fiber connection out in the middle of nowhere, this is really going to help with the gaming community in a whole. Well, that's going to be it for today. Remember, if you're watching on Twitch, to click the follow button. If you're over on YouTube, make sure you click subscribe, and follow me on Twitter as the Gray Falcon. Until next time, have a good one.